YouTube Live, Facebook fam, Lioness Wealth Therapy here with, oh my goodness, a treat for you all. I have to say, Candace Ivory with Lioness Wealth Therapy is proud to present an amazing man. I tell you, he's my mentor, my coach. He got me on the path of thinking. He got me on the path of healing from within. It's all about getting to that point where you come to terms with truth. You confess that truth out of your mouth. From that point, you assume responsibility of your truths. And I love that. That is something that I have not done in ever. So I am not going to keep you all long because I know we have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Are you all enjoying your Labor Day weekend so far?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, without further ado, we have our wealth strategist, our author, our entrepreneur, and oh my goodness, an awesome father, husband. He has many titles, I tell you. H Cortez, the man with the plan, is going down in M-Town. Welcoming H Cortez.
All right. Cool. Thank you. Really quickly, I'm just going to give you a little bit of my background, tell you a little bit about myself. I am H Cortez, also known as the financial health mentor to the working class, where I do my very best to bring practical yet proven wealth building strategies to working class men and women all over this great nation of ours. I'm fourth born of 6 children raised by a single mom. In fact, I was born just down the road here in Tupelo, Mississippi, and actually was down visiting some family and friends before I drove up for this event. And I know what it's like to struggle financially. And when I was a child, even though we were extremely broke, we were not poor. As a single parent, my mom did a very wonderful job of establishing the fact that poor is a mindset, broke is just temporary. Now, I have to be honest, I was struggling to figure out how long temporary actually was because it kind of felt permanent because we were broke for a very, very long time. And then I think Kanye West said it best, having money is not everything, but not having money is. When you don't have money, that's all you can think about, because every single decision that you make is based on whether or not you have the capital to make the move. I want to do this, but I don't have any gas in the car to get me there. I got a few dollars to pay to get in, but then I can't pay to have popcorn at the show. And all of those sorts of things are, we shouldn't be making life decisions every 5 seconds. And that's where you are when you don't have your finances in order. So I vowed as a child that if I ever got my hands on the true keys to wealth and prosperity and success, I would do my best to share them with everyone, and that I would never myself fall into that broke category. Well, guess what? Life happens, and before I found myself with the information that I'm going to share with you tonight, I was literally 5 or 6 months behind on my mortgage, in foreclosure. Couldn't file bankruptcy because guess what? I was just 2 years out of a bankruptcy, so my finances were jacked completely up. But I knew one thing is that those are only temporary situations. I knew if there are other people out there being wealthy, having financial success, I definitely could too. I just needed to know what they know. And lo and behold, someone contacted me on Facebook and said, "Hey, have you ever heard of income shifting?" And I was like, "No, what's that?" And they put me up on game, as the young folks say. And literally the rest has been history because I was able to overcome, get my family out of foreclosure, overcome that bankruptcy situation, and get us back on track financially because of a handful of strategies and principles. And we're going to talk about some of those today because now that I know these wealth building strategies, I like to say it like this: the secret to wealth is no longer secret because they let this big mouth kid get a hold of those secrets. And I'm telling everybody what it really takes to build wealth and create your family empire from scratch, because that's what I'm doing. Oh, legacy for me. I want to make sure that I'm doing something today that my great-grandchildren will be proud to bear my name for. They say in this world you got a couple options. You can leave a mark or you can leave a stain. And I definitely want to leave a mark for my children. So let's get into some of the things that are holding us back from becoming financially successful first and foremost. And then we'll get into some of the solutions on how you can overcome those things. And then for those who are ambitious enough to really put forth, I heard my man say, you got to put one foot in front of the other. That's all it's about. When you have the right game plan, you have the right tools, you have the right direction, now you have to take the action steps. So we're going to talk about those specific action steps that will allow you to lay the foundation to building a family empire from scratch. So most working class people know that you got two objectives in life. You're trying to eat today and you're trying to eat tomorrow. All that simply means is today I got to have food on the table. I got to feed the kids, put clothes on their backs, school supplies, all of that stuff today. But also there's going to come a time where I'm not either physically able to work, I either don't want to work, I'm not wanted by an employer to work, but there's only one day that I can think of where I will no longer need an income, and that's the day that I'm dead. So if I'm always going to need an income, then I have to do something that will produce an income even when without me having to do some sort of physical labor. What I know about wealthy people is wealthy people find one or two ways to get paid for one or two things that they love to do, and neither one of those things involves them doing any physical labor. They like to create what's called non-wage income. So I'm going to teach you how to do that today. But let's talk about the problems that people are running into to meet those two objectives. Now, Social Security tried to fix that. They said, you know what, we'll take a little bit out of everybody's paycheck, and when you get to retirement age, we'll pay that back to you. Well, I'm in Generation X. There's Generation Y below me, and then you have the millennials. I don't know if Social Security is going to be available for me. I definitely don't think it's going to be available for millennials or Generation Y, but that was the government's attempt to getting everybody something in their retirement years. I don't know if you've ever seen your Social Security number, your Social Security statement, but mine said I'm gonna get about 960 something bucks a month. Guys, I can't even feed one of my children with 900 bucks a month. How am I expected to live or maintain the current lifestyle that I have with that limited amount of income? Corporations try to do a similar feat. They say, you know what, we will step in and help our employees by putting money to the side for them. But guess what? My grandfather retired from the post service, the post office, and he and my grandmother literally traversed this world off of that pension income. But companies are no longer putting together pensions for their people anymore. Why? Because there was a time when people retired from the job at 65, and then they were basically dead by 68. Well, now, advances in medical technology, people retire at 62, 63, and they live to be 100. So companies were literally on the hook paying pensions for 30 and 40 years in some cases, and it got too costly, so they wiped those out. What they replaced that with, though, is a 401k plan. And what that simply means is your retirement is now in your hands. If you're not doing something to get yourself in order for your retirement future, then you're going to have to depend on the government, you're going to have to depend on charities, and you're going to have to depend on family and friends. Now, we talked about what we're trying to do. If you're going to solve for any problem, you have to first understand the root cause of that problem. So let's talk about 4 challenges that working class people are dealing with that are keeping them from personal financial success. Number 1 is inflation. Now, we're not going to go too deep into inflation because the fact that when it comes to inflation, we just live under a fiat currency system and the value of the dollar goes down every day. Now, most people don't see it that way. The way it affects you as an employee, you see the cost of living going up every day. The cost of daycare, the cost of groceries, the cost of gas, everything that you need in your life continues to increase daily. But one thing that's going on in your life that's not increasing daily or increasing as rapidly as inflation is what? Your wages on your job. And one reason primarily is the fact that you are a liability on your company's balance sheet. And if you know anything about building wealth, then liabilities, you are taught to keep your liabilities low. That's why they're keeping your income low. So if you understand that, then you start to figure out, okay, inflation cost of living continues to go higher and higher every day, but raises on my job are not keeping up with the cost of inflation. So bottom line means I'm going to continue to fall further and further and further behind. The wealth gap will continue to increase because people don't understand how inflation actually affects their lives. That's challenge number one. Challenge number two is taxes. Taxes, when it comes to taxes, challenge number two basically says this: you are paying or giving to Uncle Sam a third of your life, right? We don't see it that way, but anything that takes a third of your money is taking a third of your time. And when it's taking a third of your time, then you basically are working for Uncle Sam from January through April, and that's where your money is going. Working class people pay on average 28 to 33% of their income in taxes. But guess what? Is income tax the only tax that we have to deal with? No, you got personal property tax. If you're in Missouri like me or other states that have state tax, you got other local tax, gas tax, school tax. So when a working class person finishes paying all of those taxes, they're literally paying anywhere from 50, 60, sometimes 70% in taxes. That's why working class people can't get ahead, because you're basically trying to live off 30% of your income. So we call inflation the silent income killer. Well, taxes is the chainsaw massacre, because there's nothing silent about Uncle Sam coming into your check, getting what he wants off the top, leaving you to fend for what's left. Finally, or the third challenge is debt. So now, you think about what debt is doing to Americans. We've been socially conditioned to believe that debt is okay. Everybody believes that you just have to have a mortgage. You just have to have a car note. That's just the way that it's going to be. Well, it doesn't have to be that way, but we've been conditioned that way, and then we have just basically accepted that as our lot in life. Well, if you work for Uncle Sam from January through April, then you work for the banks from May through August, because everything that you borrow, you have to pay back. So as a result, you're paying interest on your credit cards, your mortgage, your car note. All of those things are robbing you of your ability to create wealth. That's why we don't have the capital to build this family empire, is because we're busy building someone else's family empire, aka the Gates empire, aka the Chase empire, aka the Buffett empire. All of these people are able to build empires based on our spending habits. So we have to understand that debt is another challenge that we have to overcome. And then last but not least, we're talking about expenses. All right, so if you're taking note, the first challenge is inflation. The second challenge is debt, taxes. The third challenge is debt. And the fourth challenge is big business, or what we like to say, less than ideal cash flow decisions. Now, all that simply means is, because most working class people work solely for the purpose of paying bills, and that's pretty much all they can afford to do, big business has studied you from a psychological level to figure out how to separate you from the money that you do have left over, right? We know Uncle Sam is going to get his, the banks are going to get theirs via interest, and big business is fighting to get the rest. Now, I'm not going to tell you not to participate this weekend as we celebrate Labor Day. I'm not going to tell you not to buy costumes for your kid next month for Halloween. I'm not going to say don't feast for Thanksgiving, but understand that we live in a system of capitalism, and there is a weekly stimulus, a monthly stimulus, and an annual stimulus, because our currency is basically worth nothing unless it's continuously moving. So every week we get paid at the same time. That's by design, because that stimulates the economy every week. Every month there's a major holiday, because that stimulates the economy on a bigger scale on a monthly basis. Every 6 months you have a major holiday. You have the 4th of July is one major holiday, what's called a biannual stimulus. And then you have the Christmas shopping season, which is the annual stimulus. I'm not saying don't participate in that stuff. What I'm saying is, if you're not careful, because you work so hard for your money, chances are you would tend to go overboard when you participate in these events. We know families right now today that are buying a truckload of meat that they cannot afford to beat some people that they do not like, trying to show that they have means that they don't even have. That's an issue, and because you have those challenges in your life, you cannot and will not ever be able to build wealth, let alone put your pennies together as a family and start building that family empire. Now, I wouldn't dare come before you and talk about all of these challenges without being able to offer some solutions. There are some solutions, guys, but you have to think outside the box. You have to really understand how this money game is played if you're going to be serious about doing something to build a family empire from scratch. So we're going to go to the board here and talk about some of these solutions that you have to put into place if you're going to overcome some of these challenges. But first, you have to understand that there's three primary ways that you make money here in America. You make money on the job or a W-2. You can make money through a business as a 1099, or you can make money as an investor. Those are the three primary ways that you can make money in this country. Now, making money in this country, it comes down to your choices. And the reason that's important to understand is because how you choose to make your money in this country determines how you're taxed on that money that you make in this country. So if you choose, like 95% of Americans choose to make 100% of their income via a W-2 or a regular job. As a result, they're paying anywhere from 28 to 33% in income tax alone. Again, we discussed the fact that there were other taxes outside of just income tax, right? So 28 to 33% that you're paying as an employee. A business owner, the net result of a business is 18 to 23%, right? So again, we're talking about how the money game is really played. You choose the way that you make money, and by default, you're also choosing the way that you're being taxed in this country. Right now, this isn't tax evasion. This isn't don't pay your taxes. This is understand that in order to build wealth, you have to have your taxes under control. If you do not, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to build any significant amount of wealth, because when you're overtaxed, you tend to go and float your lifestyle on some sort of debt instrument, via a credit card, leveraging mortgage for a house, leveraging a loan for a car, leveraging furniture loans, and those sorts of things. But if you get your taxes under control, then you can start getting your debt under control. As a result, you free up the cash that you need to actually start building wealth. And then when you make money with money, then usually you're going to pay less than 15% in taxes. You can ultimately couple this with a business and pay even less taxes than that. But again, this is not how to avoid paying taxes. This is not a tax evasion. This is understanding how the money game is played, so you play it like those who are successful at this game, and they do not pay more than their fair share of taxes. All right, so we talked about those 4 challenges, and we have 3 simple solutions that will help you overcome those challenges. Solution number 1, for those of you taking note, solution number 1 is cash flow management. All right, if you need something to take notes with, here's a pad. Candace, if you want to pass her the pad, and there's a box of pens right there as well. Solution number 1 is cash flow management. Guys, you have to get control of the cash that is flowing into your household, but equally as important, the cash that is also flowing away from you. I like to see it like this. We have never, ever, ever had a get cash problem, a get money problem. Our problem is always a cash flow problem, in the sense that too much of our cash is constantly flowing away from us, right? So if you understand that that is a root problem, then you can solve that problem and keep your cash from flowing away from you, all right? So we're talking about solution number 1 is cash flow management. Since 95% of Americans make most of their money through a job, we want to talk about first getting your money back from Uncle Sam via the W-4 form. Now, the W-4 form was included in that stack of papers that the HR rep gave you when you got your first job. Most people fill that thing out and sign it with that stack of papers, never paying attention to it or how it's going to actually affect their income. Well, if you ever read the top of that form, it says you should revisit this form every year or when your financial situation or your life situation changes. Anybody agree that if you get married, that changes your life situation? Right? What about if you have children? Did your life situation change? Did you go and revisit your W-4 form when some of those things took place in your life? Right? You get a divorce. Those things happen and they affect the way that you are taxed. So the first thing that we want to do is get you to revisit your W-4 form. According to the IRS, 8 out of 10 people have their W-4 form filled out incorrectly. And what that simply means is you are already in a place where you are being taxed the absolute most if you make 100% of your income from a job. On top of that, you did not fill out your W-4 form correctly, so now you're paying more taxes than you actually should. So as a result, you're overpaying your taxes anywhere from $200 to $400 per month. So the first thing we're going to do is revisit this, because if we can bring an extra $200 to $400 back into your household, we know that can be a catalyst for you to start laying the foundation to build your family empire from scratch. Point blank, period. According to the latest statistics, when we had that mortgage debacle in 2008, the statistics showed that if the average family was bringing in an extra $300 per month, 80% of those foreclosures could have been avoided. 80% of the bankruptcies could have been avoided if families had an extra $300 a month. Well, I'm here to tell you that they got it. They're just giving it to Uncle Sam. Now, some people realize they're giving it to Uncle Sam and they just like the idea of getting a refund at the end of the year. But let me ask you something. Is a refund at the end of the year worth it if you have to struggle all year long? If you're struggling paycheck to paycheck all year long, what's going to happen? The chances 9 times out of 10 when you do get that lump sum refund, you're going to celebrate it. You're going to treat it like the harvest versus the seed, right? If you treat it like the seed, you can sow it and do something with it. That could be money that you could use to build your family empire. However, most people, because they have literally worked to pay bills all year long, they get that tax refund and they go and celebrate. And there's nothing wrong with celebrating. Just understand you're celebrating at a cost. All right. So that's strategy. That's step number 1 in our first strategy of cash flow management is revisiting the W-4 form. If you're one of those 8 out of 10 people that can bring $200 to $400 back into your household, I've got dozens of people that I've worked with who are bringing back $500, $800. Couples are bringing back $500 back into their pay per person. So that's $1,000 per household coming back. What can you do with that? Well, I'm glad you asked. Second thing we're going to do is tackle our debt. All right, now, let me give you my disclaimer because I didn't give it to you beginning. I'm already a horrible speller, right? Now you add the fact that I'm trying to spell and write at the same time, and the fact that my board doesn't have spell check. Guys, if you see me misspell something, charge it to my head and not to my heart. I'm not trying to mislead anybody or anything like that, but I literally need spell check on my board. I've come to rely on it quite heavily. But if you got an extra $200 or $300 coming back into your household, what would that do towards getting rid of a car note, right? You throw an extra $300 to the car note, how soon can you get that car note to disappear? It doesn't take 60 months anymore, does it? Maybe 18, maybe 24 months, right? That's what we're talking about. Now you still have a nice late model car with no car note. Then what does that do for you? It brings another $300, $400, $500 back into the house to go with the $200 or $300 that you got from Uncle Sam. So we teach that you can take that money, use it as a catalyst to create what we call a positive snowball effect. So let me give you an example of what that would be like. The snowball effect is this. You adjust your W-4 form properly and you bring $300 a month back into your household. You've got a $1,000 Visa card where you're paying $50 a month to service that debt, right? You start throwing that extra $300 a month in, now that $1,000 Visa bill disappears in 3 months. Now you got $350 every month to go towards the next debt. You put that towards your car loan, or you put that towards your student loan. You put that towards the Discover card or whatever. And every time you pay a debt off, it's like giving yourself a pay raise. So we're talking about taking the money that you already have, freeing it up so we can ultimately get to a place where we're laying the foundation to build this family legacy from scratch. So taking that money and getting rid of your debt. Now that you know that big business is attacking you and helping to separate you from your money that you could be using to build this family empire after we eliminate the debt, now we're going to go after those expenses. Guys, I tell you no lie. I literally, before I started really getting into building wealth and creating a legacy for my family, I had $100 per month coming out of my bank account faithfully for subscriptions that I signed up for, had auto drafts coming out each and every month for stuff I wasn't even using. Now, if I was in front of my computer, I would show you on my financial calculator what $100 a month can do for you at 8% rate of return over 20 years, 30 years. I literally did that for about 8 years. $100 a month, $1,200 a year for stuff I wasn't even using. So when you understand that the game is to build wealth, you can't build wealth without capital, you stop letting your capital get away from you. So strategy number one is cash flow management, right? We understand that most people are living in what's called a negative cash flow cycle. That simply means that your lack of money is costing you money, right? And I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. I've been in line at the payday loan place, guys. I've paid that 500% interest 3-4 months at a time, and then you finally pay it all off just to take it right back out. I've been there, guys. I've swiped the debit card on Wednesday, getting gas to finish up the week, hoping that they don't pull it out until Friday because I select credit. And what happens? They pull it out Thursday, 11:59. Now I don't have one overdraft fee. I got one after the other because when all of those things calculated, now I paid $120 for $30 worth of gas. I'm telling you, I know what it's like to struggle. I've been there. I can write a book on financial struggle. But now that I know that my goal is to build wealth, I'm not letting my capital get away from me. So we want to help you flip your cash flow from negative to positive. What is a positive cash flow cycle? That's where your abundance of money saves you money. Give an example. I go into the car lot and I got $24,000 cash. They want $30,000 for the new Altima. Am I driving away with the new Altima if I give them $24,000 cash? You better believe it, because they're not going to let that 24 cash walk off of their lot. They're going to give me all kind of discounts, rebates, whatever they have to do. So that's an example of my abundance of money saving me money. Not only did it save me the $6,000, it saved me all of the interest that I would have paid if I had to take out a loan to get that vehicle. So we want to help you flip your cash flow from negative to positive, and that is our first strategy. How do you guys know that most millionaires outside of lottery winners and trust fund babies built their income through some sort of business? Right? It's just a fact. You don't build wealth in this country without some sort of business enterprise. So our second strategy is helping people to develop business income. And again, we talked about one of the 4 challenges is taxes. Well, when you have a business, you can further reduce your tax liability. Why? Because everyday household bills become legal, ethical, moral tax deductions for you when you have a business, right? So how many of you guys got cell phones? I look like everybody got a cell phone, right? You're gonna pay your cell phone bill whether you got a business or not, right? Why not start a business so a percentage of that cell phone bill become tax deductible, right? Uncle Sam will put something on your cell phone bill, right? Why not start a business and put an office in your home? Now Uncle Sam will put something on your rent or mortgage because a portion of your rent or mortgage becomes tax deductible. All right. Same thing with your internet service. All right. Candace has her baby over here manning the computer as you know, working tech support for this event. Well, guess what? Candace gets to pay her baby to provide tech support for this event, and the wages that she paid her baby are tax deductible. Right? You got kids between 6 and 18, you can pay them to work in your home-based business, and those wages are tax deductible. Her baby still goes out and gets what she was going to get if Candace would have given her allowance. Candace is now just shifting her income through her business and accomplishing the same thing while reducing her tax liability, freeing up cash that she's going to use to start building her family empire. I hope you guys can see that there's a theme going on right here. We're talking about building a family empire, but we're talking about building it from scratch. We're not talking about going to get government grants. We're not talking about going to get bank loans. We're talking about taking the money that you already have, making that work for you better, freeing up the cash that you already got coming in and putting that to work for you to build your family empire. So we're talking about starting a business, and in particular, a home-based business. The different thing is, I could start a brick and mortar business, but guess what? I'm going out and getting new bills, new leads, new equipment stuff, new cell phones for that bill. Well, if I started it in my home, now the bills that I already have become tax deductible, and I can legally write off a large percentage of my lifestyle. So we're talking about partnering or starting a business of some sort, and in particular, a home-based business. Now, we have a business that you can partner with us in that will cost you less than $200. And then if you stick around to the end, we're going to talk about even bringing it down to less than $100, and then $35 a month. Now, if you're going to get into any sort of business, then you want that business to be what? Something that has a product or service that is in demand, right? We want that business to be something that offers a product or service that not only people need, but people want, right? Because we all know people who need certain things in life, but they don't spend money on what they need. They spend money on what they want. So we want to have a business where products and services are not only needed, but also something that people want, all right? And then you want to have a product or service that is system-driven, right? System-driven. Why does it have to be system-driven? Because we're in a position where we're all working 9 to 5 jobs. If you don't have a system-driven process or business, then it's going to require too much of your time. So we're talking about system-driven businesses that will allow you to put systems in place in a limited amount of time input where you can still start to develop an income over time. So that's what we're talking about. And that's what, if you partner with us, that's what you're getting. You're getting a business that has products and services that people not only need, but also people want. You're getting products and services that are in demand, and you're also getting a systems-driven business that doesn't require a lot of your time to get it set up initially, or a lot of your time to actually run it, to get it to generating an income for you. And our business is this, teaching these wealth-building principles and strategies. You can leverage an event like this, plug your family and friends into it, let them know that they can learn some strategies, they can free up $500 to $1,000 of their own money so they can start building a family empire. So our strategy number 2 is business income, because literally a portion of your lifestyle becomes a write-off, and that saves you money. Give you an example, the average person that partners with us saves on average $10,000 to $12,000 per year in tax liability alone. Now, what could you do if you had that $12,000 a year going into a retirement account? What could you do if you and 5 of your closest relatives all were doing the same thing? Now, not only do you have $12,000, they've also freed up $12,000. In 1 year, you got $60,000 to start a family restaurant, start the clothing business, start the salon, or whatever the case. So you think we've got some valuable information in showing people how to free up their own money, because that's what it's going to take to build your family empire. You're going to have to first free up the capital needed to get that going, and you can do that on a part-time basis when you partner with us. All right, and then last but not least, our final strategy is to get you to a place where your money is working for you, so that you can start earning dividends, capital gains, and then the biggest investment that you can make of all is an investment in yourself, right? Why is this important? Because again, here's a philosophy of someone who works a job, and without even being conscious of it, you're saying that I'm going to work, I'm going to do the hard work, I'm going to pay taxes second, and then I'm going to try to live off what's left. That's the philosophy that you're living under when you work a job home. Add a home-based business, now the philosophy changes a little bit. My business is gonna work. My business gets to spend second on all of its expenses, and then my business pays taxes on what's left. Big difference, right? Shifting where the taxes come out is huge. And then finally, when you start making money with money, then the philosophy is this. My business, my money, I get to invest my money, or my money works, I get to reinvest my money, and then my money makes more money. Period. We call that cash, asset, cash. So what we're talking about today is the ability to take a little bit of cash, and we're talking about less than $100 today. For those of you who are watching online, I'm gonna give you a phone number to text into, but if you're serious, we're talking about less than $100. Take a little bit of cash. You have to buy, build, or invest in some sort of asset. This business is an income producing asset. That could be one of your investments. And that asset, you want it to be doing what? Bringing back more cash. When that becomes your habit, then you build wealth on autopilot. Cash, asset, cash. Every time I get my hands on some cash, I buy, build, or invest in some sort of income producing asset that brings me back more cash, that I'm going to invest in some sort of income producing asset that's going to bring me back more cash, that I'm going to invest in some sort of asset, and you build wealth on autopilot, right? So how many of you guys agree that if you share this with a friend or a family member and you said, you know what, I have a way that we can start freeing up some cash and start building a family empire, you think this will make sense to your family and friends? It just makes sense, right? You've got the money that you need for your family empire. Uncle Sam, the banks, big business, inflation is eating into it before you get to do anything with it. We put you on the right side of capitalism, right? So really quickly, let me show you an example of what we're talking about from an income producing, how this is an income producing asset. So here's the deal. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about how, we just talked about how you take your own money and free up $1,000. Anybody think that's worth just understanding that, you know what, I can free up $1,000 myself just using these strategies, just minimizing taxes, eliminating debt, cutting back on some expenses, that can free up $1,000 for you. I get 3 or 4 of my girlfriends, cousins, sisters, brothers, mom, dad, family together. We're all working this program. Now we collectively free up $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 together. Now we start saving that money into a family pot for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Now you're looking at inside a year, you've got $25,000, $35,000, $45,000 of your own money to start building your family empire, right? That's just if you all did this collectively. But I know somebody here is saying, you know what? My family is a bunch of knuckleheads. So they about ain't gonna be down with a program like this. And that's cool, because what we're talking about is your ability to still free up anywhere from 500 we're still talking about your ability as a single person to free up $500 to $1,000 per month yourself, right? We're talking about once you start using this money to eliminate your debt, minimize your expenses, free this up yourself. So even if you did this yourself and you freed up $1,000 and you save it for 12 months, you still got $12,000 to start that family empire by yourself. I get it. Not all of my family are knuckleheads, but enough of them are to make me say, you know what? Somebody in this family has to stop the bleeding of poverty. And I just raised my hand and said, it's gonna be me. I'm just gonna be the person in my family. We're no longer gonna be going through this. It stops at this generation, and future generations will have it a lot easier, because not only will we have the income to pass down, but we're also having the knowledge to pass down. So what you do is, if you're in a situation where you don't have your family that are open to fixing their own cash flow and things of that nature, then you build it on your own. So we talk about this as an income producing asset when you partner with us. Again, more minutes. We're going to talk about how you can partner with us for less than $100, $35 a month. We're going to put you in the game for building lasting wealth. You're going to get all the education, the tools, the training, the mentorship, the guidance that you need to literally put yourself on a fast track to building wealth, laying a foundation to build your family empire. So if you decide to partner with us, you don't have a whole lot of influence with friends, family members to build, but we're going to teach you how to use the tools that we have to build. The first person that you refer to our financial success membership, you're going to get a $25 commission. Second person you refer, you're going to get a $25 commission. Third person you refer, you're going to get a $50 commission. And because you advance and rank to a level called executive vice president, now that puts you in a position where you not only get a raise from anybody that you personally refer, but you also get overrides from people that also refer others. So we're going to teach you our system of how to build this business online, offline, with family, without family. There's really no excuse. All you need is the ambition. We're going to first teach you how to free up $500 to $1,000, eliminate your debt, get your emergency fund set up, put you in a position to start investing. But then you say, you know what? I've got an idea that I've already mapped out in my head. I know it's going to take me, about $20,000, $25,000 to get this thing started. I just can't qualify for a bank loan. I can't get any grants. Family won't put the money together to make it happen. How can I generate that $25,000 to $50,000? Well, I'm glad you asked, because based on this, you are able to create what we call leveraged income. Your ability to make money without having to lift a finger. So when you introduce your third person and they introduce two more, you're going to get a $25 override per person that's introduced into what's called your base shop. 25, 25 plus 50, so now you got $100. But guess what? When you introduce this person and they introduce their family members, you didn't have to lift a finger for that, right? So you get what's called leveraged income. So when leverage is out like that, if these two people did the exact same thing, guess what? You're still going to get a $25 override. So now you see you're putting yourself in position to start building the money that you need for your family empire. So there's three ways that you can acquire income in this, acquire wealth in this country. You can either buy it, you can either build it, or you can steal it. I'll tell you about stealing wealth. But we understand that this entire country was stolen. So we know about stealing wealth, right? But we're talking about building wealth. And once you build wealth, you can put yourself in position to actually, you can go to institutions and invest with them so that your money grows for you, right? But when you don't have any money, what do? You got to build it from scratch. And to build it from scratch is going to take you getting involved in some sort of business enterprise. Point blank, period. There's no other way to do it. Best thing for you to do, in my opinion, is to get involved in a home-based business, because not all of us have the business acumen where you can start at a low entry fee, cost you a minimum amount of investment per month to maintain that business. And at the same time that you're building, earning commissions, you're learning how to become more business-minded. You're learning about leveraged income. You're learning about wealth that you're going to be able to use in your own life to free up $500 to $1,000. And you're going to be able to move on whether your friends and family like what you're doing or not. So last piece, you introduce this to someone and they said yes, they like it, you earn a $50 commission. They introduce it to a few other people and you earn a $25 override per person. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people entered your base shop, and every time 7 shop, you're going to get a $500 to a $1,000 bonus, whether you put all 7 people in your base shop yourself or you put in one and they all put in a couple people each. Now, what if it took you a month to do this? Right? What if it took you a month for this thing to shake out and you just earn an extra $1,000 a month? Now you're talking about by yourself. You freed up $1,000 a month. By yourself, you involve yourself in a business system where you got coaching, mentorship systems in place, and then you earned another $1,000 a month. So we talked about your family empire costing you $24,000 to get started. Well, you freed up $1,000 a month yourself. You start earning $1,000 a month in business income. You save that for 12 months, and what do you have? You have that $24,000 to build your family empire. But it starts with you taking the initiative and taking the first steps to move forward with your aspiration to build that family empire. So with that, I'm pretty much done. If you got any questions about what it is that we do, how we do it, how we can help you accomplish some of these dreams, goals, and aspirations that you have for yourself, I'm open for Q&A. We talked about the ability for you to partner with us for less than $100. Guys, if you are serious, $70 today will get you started in your own financial education business. First thing we're going to do is teach you how to manage your own money, how you free up $500 to $1,000 of your own money. You see this working for yourself in your life personally, then refer 2 or 3 other people to this financial success membership. And if they like what they see and they want to free up $1,000 a month to get going, then they certainly can do so. We'll plug them in and teach them the exact same strategies that we taught you, and then you can start developing business income. All while this is going on, we're teaching you tax minimization strategies, how to take advantage of all of the business tax deductions that are available to you. All of that, while we're doing that, we're teaching you investment education so that you know how to invest in the wholesale market and get greater rates of return for your money. So for less than $70, if you're watching us online, let's see how much charge I got on my phone, so I can get your message. All right, if you're watching us online, for the next 2 hours, if you're serious, then I want you to text the word franchise to 314-874-6887. All right, text the word franchise and your name to 314-874-6887. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on the phone with you, answer any questions that you may have. And if you're serious about getting started, I'm going to give you the link that you need to get going with us, plus a $50 off coupon code that's going to bring the cost to get started with us down to $70, right? $70. You live. $70 starts your family empire right now today. But you got to text the word franchise to 314-874-6887 along with your name. Guess what? If you text the word franchise in your name, I'm going to call you. Pick up the phone if you're serious, right? Or if you're on Facebook Live and you want more information, send a private inbox to the account that you're seeing this on, whether you're seeing it on Candace's account for Lioness Wealth Therapy, whether you're seeing it on my account, Financial Health Mentor, wherever you're seeing it, instant message that person and say, you know what? I need to start building my family empire. I got $70. I can afford a little over $1 a day, $35 a month to keep this thing going and start building and learning from you guys, and we will get you guys started. So any questions in the room before we jump offline? Questions in the room? No questions? All right, cool. So guys, it's been an honor, a pleasure, and a privilege to share with you. I'm going to bring my girl Candace back up from Lioness Wealth Therapy so she can close this out. But again, last time, text your name and the word franchise to 314-874-6887, and we can help you get started for the special promo price of $70 and then $35 per month. And we can get you trained up on how you can start laying the foundation to build your family empire. Thanks.
Give it up for H Cortez. Oh my goodness. I knew you were going to bring it. I knew it. We had a nice day today in Kinky Kong, blowing it up for us. You know what? I brought this to you all for a reason. When I would say maybe a couple of years ago, when I was married, my husband had an accident, and we don't foresee accidents, but he wasn't prepared. We weren't prepared for what was to come. He was off from work for a year. That left everything on me. Now, I was almost to the investment part of it all, but I was working at home at that time. I wasn't making a whole lot though. So here I am trying to take care of myself, him and my children and my business. And it was beyond overwhelming. I think that by the grace of God, I was able to sanely make it. I vowed to myself at that moment that I would never be in this situation again. Well, he got up, he was able to go back to work, but oh my goodness, in business, nothing is ever permanent. Everything is about change. Outsourcing stopped. I lost my job at that point. So now here I am, used to being that independent breadwinner without anything. So I was fortunate enough to be able to go back into working outside of the house, but I knew that my goal was to eventually go back to working in my own business. I love the freedom, I love the independence, I also love the ability to be able to make as much as I chose to. And then I also thought about my children. They lost the ability to have their mother at home. I was there for them for everything. I homeschooled them. We had a lot of activities outside of the home that I was no longer able to do. So then I also thought about, if I leave today, what am I going to leave them? And at that moment, I couldn't answer that with, I could answer it, but I only could answer it with nothing. I couldn't leave them with anything because I had scuffled and struggled so hard for so many years trying to bounce back from that accident, that incident, that unforeseen circumstance that I never could get ahead. I was constantly in the rat race. So at some point, I had to make a choice. And I had a friend girl of mine that I've known for umpteen years, almost a decade. And she came to me with a couple of things. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do that, whatever. And then she came to me with this. It's all about finance. And you can talk to me about money all day long. I can talk about money. I dream about money. I sleep money. So this was one opportunity that I realized that I could make a difference not only in my household, but in our communities. Because one thing we don't have is knowledge. We have education. We have college educations. We have diplomas. We have technical trade school educations. But one thing we don't have is knowledge on how to invest our money, how to make our money work for us, even when we are asleep. So why not share it with everyone? Why not share it with the world? I have a gift, and my gift is gab. I love to talk. I can talk your head off, I kid you not. But why not talk about something positive and tangible, something that's going to get us ahead in life? So at that moment, I decided to say, you know what, I'm going to invest in myself. And you all see my hashtags a lot. Mind over matter. Invest in yourself. That is what this Lioness is all about. So I bring to you all an advantage. I bring to you all an opportunity. If you are, not saying that everybody is, but if you are having any point of concern in your household or in your community, you see clearly that there are people that need help, then hey, join the bandwagon, because this train is moving. This is a movement, everybody. This is a money-wise movement. And the train is going to keep going. I just said that the other day. A train starts off really slow from the beginning, but once it gets going, who's going to stop it? The only thing that stops it is itself or an unfortunate derailment. And then we need to be prepared for, you have your hazard steps to help with derailments. I don't see this derailing at any point in time. So if you're on the right track, your tracks are smooth, you're going at the right speed, you won't derail anyway. But usually derailment means I'm going too fast, right? If you take your time, you're not interested in get rich quick schemes. If you're really interested in being disciplined and determined in order to make your money work for you, you can come to some truths. Remember, wealth therapy, you can come to truths about what you're really doing with your money. You can actually say it verbally, I have a problem, I need help. And then you can assume the responsibility and actually make something happen, take action towards resolving your issues, resolving those concerns, then you too can find wealth within your family. Don't ever say it can't be done because of the color of our skin or our family background or the lack of education. It has zero to do with that. It has all to do with you. So I appreciate H Cortez and his family. Hey, I am elated to bring this to you all. And I'm going to let you all get back to your Labor Day weekend because it is football season. Have a good one, everybody. Talk to you soon.